Good afternoon. I'm Glenn Parkinson. This is Bob Bailey.
Hey there.
We're two old guys going to talk about skiing.
Yep, and skis and equipment.
We love the equipment.
We have a lot of memories of this. We can't remember anything else, like where we put our keys or anything, but we do remember this kind of stuff because it's something we love.
It's fun. It's fun. So this is a pair of Bass boots. Bass was made in Wilton, Maine. Maine actually had a lot of good equipment that was made here in the state and sold nationwide. These particular boots were made by G.H. Bass, and they started making boots in the 1920s. And this boot is from the mid-1930s. I showed this boot to Bunny Bass one time, back in the 80s. Bunny was an older man at that time. He was a young man, obviously in the 30s, and he helped design this boot. And this instep strap was something he was really proud of. It would hold you tightly into the boot, gave you a lot more support. This, my hiking boots probably give me more support than this ski boot, even with the instep strap. But as in that time, this was a really cool pair of boots, made here in Maine. Bob, you got a little different setup here, don't you?
Very different setup. Not made in Maine, but very popular in Maine. It's a Scott ski boot. Scott was big with ski poles and still make them, I think. And they ventured into boots with a very unusual design. It was a kind of a rear entry, mid entry kind of thing. Solid shell, real thin, the lightest boot ever made, and still no one's ever come close to making it this light. There were some drawbacks to making a boot this thin and this light in that they worked great in winter because they were cold. So that's kind of a problem. The other problem was when it got really cold, they exploded. So that was kind of another issue. Other than that, they were great. They were great because they were colorful. You could order, well, they'd break a lot. So a lot of times you'd break the top part and they'd send you one and they'll say, we don't have that color, can we send you another color? So you would put that on. And the status for a while was you had a Scott with one color here, and another color over there. So then they started selling them that way. So you could buy, orange on top, yellow on the bottom, or whatever. And you could buy, if you had like green skis, you'd buy green boots. You didn't matter what model it was. It was only one model.
That's right.
So it was all graphics. It was all cool, and it was not a great boot, but it was a cool boot.
I skied in that for a year, and with Spademan bindings.
Well, that's a setup right there.
That was a classic. It was a hot dogging setup. I wasn't that much of a hot dogger, but it was a pretty good setup for me.
Yeah, I got frostbite in mine. But
Did you?
Yeah, they were painful ankle, but very cool.
Yeah.
In the 70s and 80s, it didn't matter if it worked, if it was cool. That's what we were going for.
Yeah. Comfort and performance was one thing, but if you look good, that meant a lot.
We're gonna go over to the ski bench next.
Actually, hold on.
You have something else?
We're gonna talk about one more boot here.
Glenn's got a good collection down here. We're in Glenn's basement, which is legendary. It's an undisclosed location in the backwoods of Maine.
Bob, you know that boot.
Oh God! Another strange boot from my era. I had a pair of these. Reichley's. They split down the middle, and the cool ones are bright red. We don't have a pair of red ones.
I know.
But
It's a good boot, but the wrong color.
Solid fiberglass. There's cars that aren't this thick. And the inner boot came out, and you could walk around the lodge with it, which was a lot more comfortable than skiing in it.
Yeah.
And you could drive your car in it. I drove a Volkswagen bus with no heater. I'd freeze my feet. So they were great for driving. And when you get to ski area, you can put them on and go skiing. And these were warehoused in Maine, Wilton, Maine.
Bass was made leather boots for decades, and then when the material started to shift away from leather to the plastics and fiberglass, they adapted. They actually bought Rosemont, which was another boot maker, kind of a funky boot, and they licensed Reichley. They were the licensed distributor for Reichley. This is the blue one. The red one was the cool one, and it was called the Reichley Red Hot. And to this day, it's the only boot, only ski boot, in the Museum of Modern Art. They brought the Rackley Red Hot, also known as the Fiberjet, into their collection.
And if you're really cool, you had a pair of jet sticks off the back of them.
Oh, yeah.
I had a pair of jet sticks that I kept breaking because I skied them wrong. So my dad worked at Ford's, he put a piece of brass in there.
Oh,
So I had the world's heaviest pair of jet sticks, and they never broke. But this with just, brass-infused jet sticks was taken.
yeah. There you go. Quick lesson in ski boots.
Yes. Now over to the
So what we got here is the Atomic ski from, what do you figure, Bob? 1970s?
it's got that neon look going on.
Yeah. Color that's famous from that time period. And it's a great ski, and it's got a Look Nevada toe and Grand Prix heel. This was a great setup from the 60s and well into the 70s. And the design of the toe is still pretty much what they're selling today. It looks different, but the science behind it is pretty much exactly what you see right here. This was a great setup. This is the only binding from that time period that I'd still feel comfortable skiing on. It worked, and it still does work. And one cool thing about these skis and the binding setup is it's got the AFD, the anti-friction device. This was at a time when the safety was changing and what made a safe binding was changing. And they realized that friction between the boot and the ski was a problem. So they started making these bright orange anti-friction devices, Teflon. It's just a piece of Teflon. So, but this particular one matches the skis. I think that's pretty cool.
Nice. And it doesn't have the thing on the back for the Look Nevada.
No.
Okay, explain the problem with that.
Hold on.
Yeah, I'm getting a handhold here.